Okay, we're back for the last chapter of Bob. And you know, some of you guys were like a little embarrassing with all that crying. It's like, grow up, guys, come on. Um, you know who you are. But no, but on a serious note, that's one of the things that I love the most about reading because part of being human is feeling emotions, and that's something that good writers do is they make you feel things. And that's kind of really amazing. If I were an author, I think one of the things I would be the most proud of is the fact that I'd be able to put words together into a story that made people feel emotions. I was able to write characters and write a storyline where something in the story happens that makes people feel things. That's pretty amazing. And that's one of the things that I love about reading so much is that it's really nice to go into someone else's life and feel stuff and really lose yourself in someone else's life. Okay, so chapter 20 is written from Bob's perspective. I am home. My home is smelly, wet, and dark. It is also cozy and warm and perfect. And now that I'm back, I remember all the parts of my story. My mom is here, and my dad, and my two older sisters, Beth and Anne. Isn't that interesting? Because Livy's little sister, baby sister, is named Beth Ann, and lots of grandparents and cousins. We well dwellers don't live inside the actual wells, more like in between them, in long tunnels and caves with nooks and crannies for playing or resting or thinking. We are tied to the earth and the sky, and even though sometimes people bring us treats, they really don't have to. We would bring the rain anyway. It's what we do. Except when one of us goes missing. This almost never happens because we are never supposed to leave the wells, like ever. What happens when one of us gets too close to the surface of a well because we smell cake and then we hear a small plop followed by a big plop? Number one, as soon as we climb out and dry off, we forget where we came from, forget how to make rain, and forget how to get home. Number two, our families can't find us and get very sad. Our underground tunnels go everywhere, which means that we could pop up anywhere. Well, anywhere there are wells. My mom searched for me in Istanbul and Singapore, in Finland, Tokyo, and all 38 Springfields in America. She couldn't go far from the wells, though, because of the drying, forgetting things. She would never have found me in Grand's closet. Number three, without rain, the land soon dries out. The crops don't grow, the animals don't have anything to graze on, the reservoirs don't get filled, and farmers like Gran and her neighbors can't pay their bills anymore. Basically, it stinks all around. But once you return to the well, your family is so overjoyed to see you again that they make it pour down rain. In a few days, water will fill the creeks and reservoirs, and rainbows will fill the skies. The grass will get green, and the animals will eat, and farmers will grow crops again, and life will be grand. Life is grand below, too, because I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. Except, and this is a big one, except I've left behind a very smart and brave friend who doesn't remember all the smart and brave things she did because someone's mom, okay, mine, acted all scary and took her pawn away. I don't know how my mom knew that the pawn was the key to Livia remembering me, but she did. Mom's not really scary, not with me anyway. After she found me, she told me a story. She said when she had been looking for me at the Tokyo well, she had heard a man telling his son about waku waku, another word that won't be in the W's in my Australian English dictionary. She said waku waku is a way of describing the thrill you feel at moving towards something that you're excited about, something that makes you feel the most alive out of anything. She said she knew exactly what the man meant, but didn't have a word for it. Waku Waku is what kept her moving toward me until I finally got close enough to a well that she found me. Leaning against Gran's well that time with Danny was like a beacon drawing her closer. Then touching the old well with the wonky tree led her right to me. Being a well dweller and having a friend like Livy are what made me feel most alive. I can feel the rightness of it all the way to my bones. Now I just need to tell her. So I wait until the middle of the night. I draw my family a picture showing them that I will return soon so they won't worry. Then I put my chicken suit on and hoist a bucket full of water onto my shoulder. When I get back, I will teach my family how to read, so they can learn about things like buckets, and I can leave notes with real words. I'm a pretty bad artist. I climb out of the well and have to climb right back in because it turns out all wells look the same from below. It took me 6 tries to find Livy's yard, but I did get to see some cool parts of the world. I'll have to make sure to return to that Hawaii place soon. It looked very green. Seems I didn't have to worry about keeping myself wet because the sky over Grant's farm is still pouring down rain. I let the rain soak me through and through, then pour out the bucket and take it with me anyway. I'm so excited as I near the house that I didn't even bother with the chicken walk. The smell of freshly baked cake hits me as I slowly push open the back door. It takes supreme willpower to walk by the half-eaten chocolate deliciousness as I pass by it. On second thought, they probably wouldn't miss a bite or two. I put down the fork after 4 bites. I should probably work on this willpower issue. The lights are out, but I can hear Gran on the phone in her room. She is laughing and saying, "I know, isn't it wonderful? I love the ping, ping, ping on the roof. I could listen to it all night. In fact, I plan to." I put my hand on the wall outside her room and send a silent thank you for housing me all these years. Then I pass her half-open door without a sound and enter Livy's bedroom. My feet pull me towards the closet, and I have to remind myself it's no longer where I belong, but then I go anyway. I stick the Lego pirate ship and my dictionary and the tutu in the bucket. The dictionary is to share with everyone. The tutu is for my sisters. The pirate ship is for me. It reminds me of what Livy said about how one thing can be lots of things. All it takes is a little imagination. Now I know that people are like that too. Livy's not just old Livy or new Livy. She's every age she's ever been. And sometimes they get jumbled, but they're all in there. All the Bobs are in me, too. All the things I choose to put in my head are what make me, me. I plan to choose wisely. I am much smarter since I've returned to the wells. I turn towards Livy now, sleeping soundly with Rufus in her arms. It's the only time I've seen her pay any real attention to him on this trip. I try not to laugh at the dab of flute paint still on her nose. She also has a smear of chocolate on her cheek. Who needs a bath now? Then I notice something sticking out from under her pillow. It's the corner of a book. I can read only a little bit of the title, Something to Z, but I know exactly what it is. It's the book with my story in it. I want to wake her and ask her about it. I want to play chess and solve more mysteries with her. I want to thank her. She protected me the way a pawn protects the king. Livy got me across the board and all the way home. But instead I let her sleep. I only lift Rufus carefully from her grasp and place the chipped pawn inside the pocket of his tiny overalls. It fits perfectly. Mom had wrapped it up in a cloth and stuck it in a drawer, but I took it out and put a rock in there instead. I learned that from Livy's trick with the pillows in her bed. I hope it will be many years before Mom realizes my deception. I pat Rufus on the head one last time. It might not work. Maybe Livy will leave him with Gran and won't ever find the pawn. But I hope Livy finds it, and I hope she takes it when she goes back to the other side of the world. Keep moving toward what makes you feel most alive, Livy, I whisper. See you in 5 years. I tiptoe back to the door, but then remember something really important and tiptoe back to whisper one last thing. Bring licorice. And that's the end of Bob. Another good book. I really love that quote. Also, wait, I want to just point out again, like I love how grateful Bob is to her. But keep moving towards what makes you feel most alive. I think that's a great quote, a good thing to live by. I also love this thing too, of what he says. Now I know that people are like that too. Livy's not just old Livy or new Livy. She's every age she's ever been. And sometimes they get jumbled, but they're all in there. All the Bobs are in me too. All the things I choose to put in my head are what make me, me. And I plan to choose wisely. I think that's such a great quote. It was a good book. Huh? I loved it. I hope you loved it too. And that was our last read aloud of the year. Hooray. I'm sad. I'm not going to cry though this time. This is Richmond, signing off.